This is Dave Gleason. I'm head coach here at Athletic Revolution in Pembroke, Massachusetts. And from time to time, I do like to make a video to put on YouTube or to put out there that explains a little bit more in terms of the X's and O's on how to deal with athletes of certain age groups. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll notice that so many of them are conceptual, and that's on purpose because as an industry, I really feel like it's our job as coaches to continually think reflectively and proactively about what we're doing, what our best practices are, and what we can make changes to better serve the kids that are in our programs or in our facilities. So with that said, today, and I've done this before, I want to share with you a program right out of my archives that I've used for kids 10 to 13 years old. I've mentioned before that I feel like for this age group, we really need to try to weather the storm in terms of all the changes that they're going through as young people. Between the ages of 10 to 13, they're certainly growing at a rapid rate. They're going to go through growth spurts. If they haven't already, they're going to be going through it. Chaos happens. Their muscles are super tight because they're just not able to grow as fast as their bones are. Sometimes, you get the kids that 2 years ago, they were like the fastest kid on their team. Now they're in your program because they need help, because when they run, they look like a newborn calf. Well, what we're here to do is to help them through this age bracket, if you will. I've had many conversations with other professionals, and we all agree that if we can at least maintain mobility and flexibility through this age, we've done our job. So don't look to make too many improvements in that area. We can certainly facilitate or help them get stronger. They're going to get stronger anyway because they're growing. We can certainly make sure that their movement patterns are as correct as possible by working them in systemic fashions with some simple cueing. We can continue to help them work on coordination, not only just contralateral coordination left to right, but things like rhythm and reactivity, spatial awareness, kinesthetic differentiation, and the list goes on there. So again, I just want to share with you a little bit about what we do here in hopes that it can help you in your program and get you thinking just a little bit. At many times, most days actually, especially for this age group and the age group younger that we work with 6 to 9 year olds, we'll start them out with free play. That's one of the things kids are not getting in school or after school. It's either a structured, organized, coached practice or nothing. Most of the time, okay? Most of the time. I know that's a generalization, but I can only go by what I see on a day-to-day basis, and most of the time, there's just no free play. So I'll give the kids 10, sometimes 15 minutes to actually play freely. Now that might sound like, well, that's a ton of time out of your program, and you don't have a lot of time with them to begin with. That's right. But what's most important for these kids? Their creativity and their imagination and their ability to cooperate and play freely, or to go through my program. So that's just something that I think about a little bit. All right, so after that, could be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. It also will help the kids focus on you once it's go time, once it's time to start class. All right, so the first thing that we'll do is work on active range of motion and mobility. What I did on this day is the first thing we did is I had them get down on the floor prone, and they did scorpions, trying to work on that torso mobility. And then more T-spine mobility, we did some prone extensions. Real quick, not a ton of reps, 2 rounds of each, on to the next thing, okay? For general preparation or our warm-up, we went through some skipping patterns on this day. So we went over regular skipping, we went over side skipping with a crossover. I had them skip nice and low and then turn 180 into a backward skip. We skipped and then halfway into a 360, nice and low, working a little bit on technique, cueing their arm action mostly, and that's about it. So there was their active warm-up, their general prep. For today. Some days it's different. Some days we'll do more form walking, your Frankensteins, high knees, active quads, straight leg marches, all those different things. Today it was skipping. Coordination enhancement is what we put in next, and we spent quite a bit of time on today with balance And then skip loops with our jump ropes. When we jump rope in here, we call it skipping loop or skip loop. So we did some balance work, eyes open and eyes closed. We made games out of it. They had to mirror me, then they had to mirror each other, standing on one foot. We did some fun things there. Then we went through some different skill sets with the jump rope. Some of my more advanced athletes, my 12 and 13-year-olds that really go, and we actually had a 10-year-old that can do this as well, performed up to 7 different skill sets as they jumped rope or skipped rope all the way down my turf here. So 7 different skills, whether it's jumping forward, jumping side to side, in and outs, version of karaoke, twists, zigzags. You get my drift. We put in a lot of different skill sets. Some kids were working on specific skills just to become better. We had a few kids just jumping forward. We had some kids practicing skipping forward as they're jumping rope. Just great stuff. They had a great time with it. After that, we went into a section of systemic strength. Now, especially for this age group, we need to root our programming partially in skill development when we talk about systemic strength. Not just systemic strength like, okay, down, we're going to do push-ups, and we're going to do as many as we can. We went over some bar skills. I got the PVC pipes out. We went over overhead squats. We talked about all the skill sets involved in overhead squats, and then they performed it, and then they taught each other how to do it for a little bit. We did the same thing with a split squat or a lunge. We did lunges as well. So there's 2 lower extremity systemic strength movements, and then we did push-up holds into push-ups. I had the kids hold for up to 10 seconds. When I saw that everybody was in a good position, they had to give me 2 push-ups. We did 3 rounds of that. Great drill, by the way, to watch how their bodies change when you have them go from a static position to a moving position, or moving through a range of motion. Unbelievable. Great structure, pillar posture, everything. Then all of a sudden you see the shoulder blades winging out, lumbar spine curve. You can pull so much out of this stuff. That's why we call this age group in here learning exploration. Ton of learning there with simple cueing and allowing them to teach themselves as much as possible. So there's our systemic strength, and we ended up with more gameplay at the end. So we played a little bit more dodgeball, which is what we started with. We played a different version of dodgeball. We call it revenge dodgeball, where it's every person for themselves. We started out very high skill, so you can only hit someone with a dodgeball from the knee down. There's no boundaries except for the turf. And if you get hit with a dodgeball from the knee down, you have to sit down until the person that hits you gets hit. Then you're back up. So the game's always revolving, always revolving. We played a round of that, and then I said, okay, now from the waist down, a little bit less skill as their biomotors go down, they get tired. We require a little bit less skill, and they're still working hard. And then the last round, anything from the shoulders down was fair play, and we had a blast with that. And then we played a little bit of sandwich tag. And sandwich tag is, you have the kids get into groups lying down on their belly. It'll work with groups of 2 or 3. 3 visually is a little bit easier for the kids. You essentially have them lie down next to each other in a sandwich in different groups all over the floor. Then you have one kid that's it, one kid that's getting chased. The kid that's getting chased can lie down on any side of any of the sandwiches that are on the ground. And if you lie down next to the person on the right, the person on the furthest left has to get up and they're chased. If they get tagged, the tagger is now the one getting chased and the game just keeps going. It's a great game to end with. They get some rest, but then it's high intensity once they're in there. So that's basically it. That's essentially what we did in a very, very recent session. I hope this gives you some ideas for your own programming. Make it fun. Give the kids what they're not getting in their sports and in school and after school, and you can't lose, and neither can they, more importantly. Hope this helps you. We'll talk to you again soon. This is Dave Gleason. Thanks so much.